Hi, I'm Michael Senoff, founder and CEO of HardToFindSeminars.com. For the last 5 years, I've interviewed the world's best business and marketing minds. Now my challenge is to build the world's largest free resource for online, downloadable audio business interviews. I've learned a lot in the last 5 years, and today I'm going to show you the skills you need to survive.
Whining, pissing, and moaning every week, but having to show up. You haven't had a vacation in 3 months. You're miserable. You hate it. And let's do a deal. I'll pay for everything. I'll send you a check. What do you think the guy said?
That doesn't make sense to me. I've never heard of business being done like that.
You're about to hear one of the absolutely best presentations I've ever heard on joint venture marketing. It's by a gentleman named Ron Alanis, and it comes from the Information Marketing Bootcamp by Ron LeGrand. I have a new service where if you have the rights to any marketing products and you have the marketing and duplication and distribution rights, you also have the rights to place any of the audio tape material up on a website to promote it. A gentleman named Bob Lee, who owns the reprint and duplication rights to the Information Marketing Bootcamp by Ron LeGrand, has contacted me to place this up on the website so he can promote this product. And that's what I've done. This is one part of one tape of the Information Marketing Bootcamp. If you're interested and like what you hear and want more information on the Information Marketing Bootcamp, please shoot me an email. Get ready, because this is probably one of the greatest presentations on joint venture marketing that I have ever heard. Away we go.
Let's move on to joint venture marketing. I'm going to be talking real fast during this presentation because I got a ton of information to give you guys. I call this presentation "How You Can Make Big Money as Easy as Answering Your Phone, Even If You're Dead Broke, Have No Experience, and Have No Resources Whatsoever." I'm going to tell you guys a true story when I was worse than broke and actually made this work for me. So joint venture marketing is absolutely something that everyone should be doing. Okay, real quick, what is joint venture? What is a joint venture? Simply, a joint venture is a mutually beneficial arrangement between two people whose resources complement each other. What I mean by resources are like products, tested, proven ads, and sales letter, and most importantly, a customer list that they have a relationship with. Most of this presentation, I'm going to be teaching you how to search for people and find people that have already spent the money to build a big list of hungry customers that want to buy more stuff. Because if you guys take anything out of this info, it's that a list of customers that you have a relationship with or someone else has a relationship with are very hungry to buy more things with. And nobody knows that. 99.997% of all business owners have no clue about that. They all think get new customers, and they neglect selling to existing customers. So that's one thing I want you guys to keep in mind when I'm going through this presentation. You want to find people that have lists of hungry customers. Burn that into your head, because that's the key to unlocking your joint venture success and how you can really make a lot of money very fast with no work whatsoever. Okay? And what I said is it's magic. You take two sets of existing resources, you combine them, and money comes out where there was no money before. Okay? So you can get tremendous time and tremendous leverage. Talk about what most people think a joint venture is real quick, is that a lot of people think it's this huge deal where you get two big businesses together and they sit down and talk and bring in all the lawyers and make a huge 28-pound contract, and they go out to the media and announce that they did a joint venture. I've never been involved in a joint venture like that. I never want to be involved in a joint venture like that. All a joint venture is, all the joint ventures that I've ever been involved in basically involve this. Hey, you want to do a deal? You got some resources? I got some resources. Hey, we ought to get together. You want to do a deal? Everyone in here has done joint ventures. You guys probably did joint ventures last night. If somebody here has a rental car, somebody else has two tickets to get a free buffet, say, hey, you got a rental car? Hey, I got 2 tickets to get a free buffet. Want to do a deal? Hey, let's go. So all of you guys have done joint ventures. You guys do joint ventures all the time. Doing joint ventures in business with information marketing is exactly the same thing. You're just finding out what resources the other guy has, getting on the phone and talking to him and saying, hey, let's do a deal. Okay? So joint ventures are very, very simple. They may seem very intimidating at first, but they're not. Okay? Let's talk about real fast, why should you do joint ventures? Why do you want to do joint ventures? It's already done. They've already done all the work for you, and you can leverage right in. If you have a sales letter, a tested, proven sales letter, or a tested, proven product that would go good to that guy's list, you don't have to spend 10 years building that. All you have to do is do a deal with him and plug it right in. Okay, so that's one of the major reasons why you guys want to do joint ventures. High net profit. High net profit. Remember, what's Ron told you out here is that's the big $1 million secret to take away from is this idea of a list of customers that someone has a relationship with. And what that means is if a person has a relationship with that group of customers that they know and trust, that you don't have to spend near as much money to get them to buy. They know you. They've bought stuff from you. They want to buy more. So when you spend money on a mailer, you don't have to spend $10,000, $20,000. You can spend a little bit of money and get a huge response because they know and they've trusted you. And there are potential joint venture partners out there right now that have lists of people that you can just plug into and step into in 5 minutes or less. 2 years ago, believe it or not, I was in the business of selling art. Long story about how I got into it, but basically I decided I didn't want to get a job. I didn't want to work for anybody. I hated working for someone, so I was going to go into business myself and see about making some money. So what did I decide to go into? I saw a lot of guys going out in the street to these art fairs, and they were making, they'd go out and sell $3,000 in a day. I said, that's great. I can make all this stuff and do the same thing too. So let me get into this business. So what I did was I went and bought basically a blowtorch and started creating artwork. And all this is, it's fun. It's about 20 inches by 20 inches, and you hang it on your wall. And I managed to go to all these different art shows, and I would sell this stuff in the street for about $100 a piece, and I did pretty good. The problem was, it's a lot of work. I was working 80 hours a week doing this, and one thing that I noticed was I wasn't making as much money as I thought. Because you got to go to the art shows, you got to pay money to get in, you got to buy food, and credit cards getting a little higher. And I was like, man, I'm not making any money. My business is eating me alive. And it got to the point where I had to move out of my apartment. I couldn't afford to pay. I had to feed my business. So I said, well, I'm going to make this work. Do I get a job or do I make this business work? No, I'm not going to get a job. I can't work. I'm unemployable. So I'm going to go down and I'm just going to live in my business and I'll turn it around in 3 months because I'm a smart guy and I'll make a lot of money. Yeah, okay. So what I did was I moved down about 15 miles out of Austin to a little town and moved into my warehouse. Had a warehouse with some office space. Yeah, I'm a single guy, no problem. I can live down here. Didn't have any hot water down there. Didn't have a shower. I can go to the gym. I can make this work. I just got to cut some expenses. Well, cut some expenses. Still not making any money. I said, this is crazy. How in the heck can I make some money? How can I find somebody who has a big list that I can sell my products to? And guys, I didn't know anything. I had no experience. I had no resources. I just had a product that I knew that people like to buy. So I said, okay, who is somebody that can buy a lot of my stuff really, really fast? And I said, wait a second. I get all these goofy catalogs in the mail. I mean, there's catalogs of every shape and size that sell products of every weird thing you can imagine. And I found this one catalog, maybe you guys have heard of it, called Sundance Catalog, found it by a guy named Robert Redford. And I looked in there and I said, gee, these guys got a list of people who spend a lot of money on weird, funky, high-dollar stuff, and I got a weird, funky, high-dollar piece of art. Why don't I ask them if they want to do a deal? So, not knowing anything at all about how to approach catalog companies, not having a clue, you're not supposed to send them products, you're not supposed to call them on the phone, you're not supposed to bother them. I said, well, I got to get some money in here. I'm going to have to get a job. So, I only had enough money to send out one big box of stuff. So I got the name, just called up and said, hey, who's your buyer? Who do I send this stuff attention to? And so, you talk to this guy. Okay, I wrote down his name. Send him a big box of UPS stuff. Just a bunch of sons like this. Didn't think I'd hear from him. 2 weeks later, I get this call on my answering machine. Hi, this is so-and-so from Sundance Catalog. We got your son. We think it's neat.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff with HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching this video. You know, many of my interviews last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, sometimes even up to 2.5 hours long. They're actual mini seminars, and you've just listened to a short sample of just one of over 117 hours of exciting, hard-hitting, mind-blowing interviews on how to make money in direct mail, advertising, copywriting. I assure you, there is not a resource anywhere anywhere on the internet or on the planet that comes close to the free information I provide at hardtofindseminars.com. So go right now to hardtofindseminars.com and you'll have free access to 117 hours of audio interviews with typed word-for-word downloadable transcripts and downloadable MP3 files. Please browse some more of the videos or go right directly to hardtofindseminars.com. Thanks for watching.